right, we're live. We're live. We're live.
We are
Hello,
live.
everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Is that it? Is that it, Bran? No verbose. Is that a hello? From where you came from?
This is me staring at you intimidatingly. Don't worry about it. This is where I come from. This is a formal greeting. But hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. All right. Where's my script? I have to pull it up. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sir. This is an interview podcast. And yes, if you were to abbreviate that, it would be SDI. Now,
Nice.
here we interview VTubers, big or small, on their experiences as or after being a VTuber, what got them into VTubing, and their attitudes towards VTubing as work, community, and marketplace. We also aim to abide by oral history methodologies to maintain a level of chronology, narrative, and ethics. But we are always open to being everywhere with everything at once because of how chaotic VTubing can be. Also note, we are not alone in these interviews. During the water break portion of the interview, the chat has a chance to question the interviewee, providing us either trivial or in-depth insights into the life of our fun and complex individual of the day. Also, for the VTubers that want to come on, our scheduling is still open. If you wish to share your story, send a message through the email in the description below, alongside our interviewees' socials. You're okay with me just putting out your link fire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all of his social links are right there. Or you can find it on the channel's About page, and we'll work out a date and time. Only qualifications as of now are having model, a following of around 100 on Twitch or YouTube. Exceptions may apply. And or experience in some level of content creation, whether it be streaming or prepared content. And with that spiel out of the way, Bran.
Yes, him.
Yeah. How's it been?
Yeah.
How's it been?
It's been good. Now, you mentioned ethics earlier. Like, I don't know if being a Grave Knight's very ethical, so I apologize if I grind any gears in your interview process. But yeah, no, that's just my.
Does it involve fiddling with I don't know, with people's minds to get something?
It's just that
could be incriminating. That could
elicit
the interviewer's biases. Huh?
Yeah, the charisma checks. It's really not my fault if they feel their will saves. That's on them.
Yep.
Yep. And if that don't work, there's always violence. But we leave that for last resort.
Good stuff. How about you introduce yourself, Overlord Geddon? Is it Geddon or is it Bran Geddon?
It is preferably Geddon. I would not mind chopping the Bran off at some point. But hello, everyone. My name is Bran Geddon. I am, Geddon, whatever. I am a Grave Knight VTuber over on Twitch. I've been doing this for a couple years now. I'm obviously big and scary, as I sound. Obviously, I'm very intimidating. So, I don't know, give me all your mortal possessions and all that jazz. I do a lot of variety streaming, mostly gaming. Sometimes there's craft, but not a bunch. So also Rainbow Sparkles, I see you in chat. So crafting in the sense of I have done miniature painting streams before. It's been a very long time, but that was a hyperfixation for a hot minute. So I do want to, try doing a clip studio paint stream at some point, but mostly it's gaming. And yeah, and just kind of still spreading the wings, as it were. So we got for pronoun, it's he, him. Hobbies, a lot of gaming. Let's see. Magic the Gathering was a big one for a hot minute, but that's kind of fallen off as the parent company has been a little dicey. Let's see. Very much into like medieval like style games. So like, you know, you got your Baldur's Gate 3, you got your what's that fighting game? Chivalry. I want to play Dark and Darker, but haven't got into it yet. But then I also do like Hunt Showdown. Just, you know, it's all over the place. So hobbies otherwise. Build PCs from time to time. I'm actually building one for my dad right now for his business. So nothing too crazy, just kind of spare parts deal. But I do know my way around a computer, so I can like upgrade my own things and not have anything blow up. So yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm not really big on explosions. Like they're just too impersonal. You know what I mean? Yeah. There was. Unfortunately, my supplier, who is my father, I am not too big on the product. I am not too big on the style of printing he uses. This no. It went through a couple washes and did not hold up very well. So I was very. Host is muted. Chat saying host is muted.
Oh, Nate. I was trying to I was adjusting my my mic arm right here because it was too far away. And okay, so well, take as you will. It's pretty much obvious of what I asked him. Except with the t-shirt one thing. He has a t-shirt floating around, or I saw images of a t-shirt there.
Yep. And I knew you were interested in one, and I actually just gave him shit about that not too long ago. I'm like, so how about that T-shirt? And he completely just was not even aware. So I'm going to we're gonna get you that T-shirt.
We'll get around to it.
But I have to confess the not exactly what I was hoping for. You know what I mean?
I got that.
It's there's different ways to print a T-shirt, and his style is not particularly like great on holding up long term. But
I got that. Do you think it might be the materials or the material that he uses?
So with how he does, he has it's like a steam press, but imagine it's like giant stickers, like not literally giant stickers, but it's what is the material? I don't know if it's latex. It's some form of. To me, it looks like giant stickers. But you get the T-shirt. You can just get it from Walmart or whatever, and just slap it on the press and align the design, and then just press down on it. And I think that's what I've seen him do. So I'm not really too into the process, but
all right, sounds fine. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of things. Now, in terms of your history as a VTuber, which don't mind me, I did plunder or what's the word? Pilfer.
Plunder.
I guess plunder would be a good go-to.
Sure. Sure.
We both have a decent idea. When you started cementing your role back in like 22, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yep. But let's go a little before this start. Yeah. In the ENV VTuber Discord server, where you were becoming an overlord by seeking out your model. First and out of characters insofar you're comfortable. Where were you at? Where were you in life before that?
Where was I in life? Kind of in the same situation right now. Homeowner. You got all your bills and whatnot. I was definitely a face cam streamer for like a hot minute. So like, I just remember seeing a VTuber on Twitch for the first time and going, "Oh my god, that's really cool." So I did have like a model off of Fiverr before I came to a certain Pangu for the current model. So,
I got that.
but yeah, no, we're out here working, over 40 hours a week, and paying the bills, and dealing with life. So, as it were.
All right.
So nothing too
And
crazy.
when
But
did you start hearing about VTubing?
oh man, that is really hazy. I'll be real with you. But all the defining moment for me was when I saw Lord Commander Chaos on Twitch. He was kind of the villain type, a little bit more leaning maybe towards steampunk. He had a kind of a gas mask aesthetic, and just the whole villain spiel. And I've always been drawn to, let's see, villain types, obviously, as you could tell. Armor and whatnot. But I remember as a face cam streamer always stressing about what was in my background. How can I make it interesting? Oh, I gotta look good. You gotta riz on people, which means a really good camera, really good lighting, really good, like all these things.
Maybe a cardboard cutout of a refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that actually.
Yeah.
It's a lie chat. It's a lie chat. So, just all that kind of thing. So, when I saw a VTuber, I'm just like, oh, dude, I could be a massive nerd and no one can see my face. Amazing. Love that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's when I knew my tyrannical rule would begin. So,
All right. Is there any other reason why you pursued it? Besides the security that comes with us wearing a mask, so to speak?
The creative expression, like, really is really, really cool. Like, you can go as deep with it as you want. All sorts of different models. Like I have an armored cat version of myself. I have all these PNG tubers that I can do. It's very creative, and you can kind of give the audience like an impression of who you are as as a person without needing to show yourself and all that jazz. So, especially in the internet age where people are more likely to kind of sync up with you based not on physical like it would in person, but like more personality. Like they have more exposure to personality and all that stuff. So obviously the model will be an extension of that. So it's kind of neat in that regard.
So after your debut, how was your first couple months streaming and creating content? Of course, debut in reference to getting your model and streaming with said model.
It's a bit on and off because with paying the bills, being an adult, unfortunately, there comes a lot of hoops you got to jump through. That can take a toll on the mentals. That can just scheduling things, all sorts of stuff. It's a bit of a learning process. Let's see. But it was mostly a weekend thing for the longest time, due to kind of just the schedule of working throughout the week, and felt like that was too much of a strain to like stream and work on the same day. But I've kind of flipped the script on that recently. So, but yeah, it was mostly a weekend streamer, and I did a lot of TikToks. I would say that a majority of my initial outreach was mostly due to my TikTok shenanigans. So
I definitely noticed that. I definitely see that you really spiked with the TikTokers.
Yes, very much. Definitely a huge shout out to the D&D community because that's kind of what I themed a lot of the TikToks on, obviously due to my appearance. So I kind of bounced between being a Death Knight and being a Grave Knight, which in essence are the same thing, but like Death Knight is more D&D and more brand noticeable. Like, there's Death Knights in a lot of, fantasy media compared to Grave Knight, which is more of a Pathfinder thing. But Geddon is entirely based on the Pathfinder OC that I had in a buddy's game. So just one of those things.
I got that. Would you say it was there was a level of difficulty taking on the reins of a streamer?
Oh, absolutely. there's so much tech that you need to cover. You know, making sure the camera's good, make sure the settings for the camera is good, making sure the software for the camera to connect to is good. It's very layered. It's definitely not a simple process by any means. Like right now, you know, we're using Veto Ninja, and you know, if that you know, we're connecting VTube Studio to that, and it's just this chain. It's very much a chain, and at any point in time, you know, one link in that chain goes goofy, and the rest just, you know, falls apart. And then you got to sit there and diagnose what happened, you know, retrace your steps, figure out what happened, and try and improve for the next stream. So it's yeah, definitely a lot of learning. It's definitely a curve. I don't think a lot of people recognize that, but I by no means would use it as a deterrent, because you know, it's a fun hobby as long as you can deal with the mental gymnastics of, you know, being a streamer, and balance, you know, everything out.
And what would those mental gymnastics be?
So, you know, with VTubing and just being a content creator in general, there's a lot of stress. You know, you're gonna hit the camera on button, and you now are worried about being funny. You are now worried about, you know, saying the right things. Not you know, giving yourself a bad image by, well, like I said, saying the wrong thing, not being funny, all these little micro stresses that just kind of build up, that I don't think a lot of people understand in the beginning. They're just like, oh, I'm going to become PNG puppet and I'm going to hit live and it'll be great. But then, you know, you're worrying about the stream count. You're worried about, you know, OBS wise, you know, the internet connection at the time. So there's a lot of mental, I want to say gymnastics. Maybe that was not the word, but the strain is there. It's definitely a building ball that not everyone on first go, you know, depending on your own personality, can manage real well. So it's just one of those, that facet, I don't think everyone kind of understands until maybe it's too late. That was definitely kind of my thing. So, like, yeah, that's kind of where I was coming from with that.
Did you have a struggle with confidence?
You have no idea, buddy. Confidence was huge. You know, if you know your RL life can definitely affect and impact your own confidence. Obviously, you know, you're you know, as cool as you might be on screen with your puppet, you know, it's still you. Like you know, you bring yourself to bear, and that's traumas, that's you know, self-esteem, that's confidence, lack of or excess of, you know, all that stuff. So if you're not a very confident person, you know, it's not always easy to become a confident person just because, you know, people can't see you. So confidence was definitely a big thing. Even to this day, I'm still not real keen on the idea of a just chat, because I feel like I would not be quote unquote worthy of just doing a just chat stream, right? I don't have a lot to base that on, because I have plenty of people who like me, and you know, I talk fairly well, I like to think. So it's confidence is definitely a thing that is maybe underappreciated when it comes to this this field.
Going back to the go ahead.
I was saying, if at any point I kind of go off the rails for your question, please just
don't worry. That's my bread and butter. All I have to
That's
do
your bread and butter? All right.
is sit here with my little black bow tie right here and just listen.
Yep. Fair enough.
Going back to the TikTok, first and foremost, what series of videos do you think contributed to your burst of followers, but also viewership?
Horny.
Horny
There
posting.
are some very, and it wasn't even intentional. It was not intentional horny. It was trying to be funny. It was trying to, because with my own editing style, I knew how to set up the PNG puppet show, basically. Do the little recordings, splice them together, green screens, all that.
Yeah.
But it's really finding a sound on TikTok that you can apply to your situation and your model and all that jazz to create a narrative that anyone can, a broad appeal. Because obviously you can be niche, but then you are limiting the amount of people who can attach themselves to that. So, what was it? The very first one, I believe, was a sound somebody did for a Vader and Emperor.
Yeah.
It was like two impressionists doing a thing for Vader and the Emperor. And I believe Vader, what was it? You will throw that ass in a circle. The Emperor demands it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Emperor just, it's on YouTube. But, Emperor just says, do it. And I, just spliced everything together. I used my old model before this one to kind of be Vader. And then swapped it over, for the Emperor as this model. And it blew up. That's what it comes down to. Just it went silly. Everyone was very horny posting in the comments, and I'm just sitting there like, guys, I was trying to be funny. Like, oh, y'all horny in here. Okay. So that was kind of my blow up point there.
Makes you wonder if Ed from Full Metal Alchemist was a awakening moment for a lot of youth. I am saying Ed, right? Ed is the right one. The one
Al, maybe?
Al, there we go. Al,
yeah, it's Al.
I constantly forget. Yeah. There we go.
In this day and age where everyone is horny for monsters and faceless masked individuals, yeah, I think there's definitely an appeal. You got your Batman and all these things. So, the mystery and the intimidation of, my whole thing is I like it where people can't see what I am. Is it humanoid? Maybe. Originally, Gen was just supposed to be a soul inhabiting an armor. Unfortunately, and actually fortunately, I would say, because I kind of took it in stride, the horny involving the character, from other people, influenced him to have, a body if he chooses. I still fall back on the soul thing from time to time. But yeah.
So how much did the popularity on TikTok translate to your other accounts, or perhaps into your Twitch streaming?
So I would say that
I think,
definitely if you
before I speak, maybe translate shouldn't really be the best way to describe it. Maybe syndicate. There we go. Would be a good way to describe it. Syndication. Connection from one account to another. Yeah.
No, translate also, that also checks out too. So I'll kind of try and work with both here. I would say a majority of my beginning following was not through streaming. It was through my TikTok, and people would take the time to go, oh, hey, this dude is cool. I will now, as long as you make your link present and easy enough to click to, sometimes people will just click and go follow you. So, I'll wake up one day and go look at OBS for the first time, and I got 5 new follows, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, this works. I didn't stream that day or anything, but a lot of pull from TikTok and Twitter to some extent, but I try to make sure people understand that just because we have a huge Twitter following, it does not translate to large following in other places. So there is some, but it's definitely ran through a filter, if that makes sense. Like, you're not going to, it's not definitely not a 1-for-1 translation, but there is that, it's short form is very important as advertising for VTubers due to how Twitch is, what's the word I'm looking for? Findability or whatever, discoverability, recommendations and whatnot. So you really have to do your own legwork and draw people's attention through multiple means.
Did your success in that area of social media, um, what's the word? Gave you a bit of confidence in what you were doing?
Oh God, absolutely. Um, it definitely was a boost, but I've always kind of been the guy to. I kind of started low and then built up as I became an adult. So
Mm,
like, I try and keep the lessons from the past. Like, I've always tried not to be overly, uh, for lack of a better term, try not to be a douchebag. So, uh, it definitely helped with confidence, but you definitely need to make sure you keep a handle on that. Otherwise, you're going to end up as the next Google Doc recipient because, you let your ego get, the, what is it, cart before the horses, I believe.
I got that.
And you don't wield that uh, resurgence of confidence in your that you may have never had before. You were not able to wield it properly, and completely uh, did do apprehensible things.
Gotcha.
So, definitely a huge confidence boost, uh, where one did not exist before. So, in part, I would say VTubing has definitely been a huge confidence boost.
Mm.
Seeing the repeat people from like social media and seeing how people interact with you, how they respond to you. I get some level of pride from, like I said, Twitter following does not translate to anything. There's bots accounts out the wazoo, as you know.
Of course.
My interactions, I try to be really authentic with my stuff on Twitter. Um, Considering I'm a night shift worker, like if I have a break, I'm on, just goofing off on other stuff. So I'm trying to be genuine. I take a small measure of pride seeing that the interactions I get, the likes and the comments and whatnot, can with my size of like I think what 3,500 can massively uh, be higher than accounts that are like 10,000 plus.
Uh,
So um, I have kind of lost my place, but yeah, confidence is good. Confidence is
mm,
real good.
of course. How often were you collabing with VTubers or other streamers before this?
I am not due to my third shift schedule.
Yeah.
I'm not as big on collabs as other people might be. Um, not be it just trying to fit people, fit myself into people's schedules and vice versa. And then sometimes it's very lax how people want to do collabs.
Mm.
Sometimes you don't even know a person, or they've interacted with you once or twice, and they want to do stuff with you, and it's like not something I'm real privy to, considering like I have, a limited amount of free time, because I'm not full time with this by any means. It's very much a hobby.
Mm.
So as flattering as it is that people want to do stuff with you, you also need to not only be selective with who you choose based on how well you know them, but then you need to basically have a vibe check with them. Like you need to make sure that you might like my design, you might be cool to interact with online, but then, we get in a call together and it just doesn't mesh.
Uh,
So collabing wise, I've definitely, done it before, obviously. And I typically enjoy myself. There's lessons to be learned when it comes, that's another facet. You got to learn
mm.
how to manage, if you're in a multi collab, everyone managing their own chats, or if you all just go hang out at one stream. So just, three people or whatever, one stream versus, three streams all kind of sync together and whatnot.
Uh,
But I would also say that a bit of my popularity did come from a few early collabs that I had with people.
yeah, I know.
So,
I know back last year you definitely collaborated with the with Party Demoness, which is
mhm.
which is very sizable right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
So I'm not gonna act like collabing is not, a way to get eyes on you, but it's not something I try to rely on, because I kind of want to what's that bring? Stand alone a little bit. Was that Godsmack or something? I don't know. It's a song, but I want to be my own foundation. I don't want to have to rely on other people too much. I want people to be a augment. I don't want them to be a critical section of whatever building we're going on here. So that's kind of my take on collabs right now.
All right. How did those opportunities strike, or those specific collabs happen?
Mostly, like with Party Demoness, she really vibed with the content in the TikTok stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that was a lot of the initial, like, first thing is just people getting a vibe of me from what I tried to express creatively through TikTok. I do not remember having a lot to do with Twitter for a while. Like, I know I was bigger on, for as long as I was like super worried about Twitter. Like, oh god, I'm gonna get canceled for this or that. But you get over that real quick when you realize how overblown that is. So it's just kind of, that's another aspect of short form content, which is your TikTok and your YouTube and whatnot, where you can once again show who you are as a person through your creativity, and people can latch onto that idea of you. So that's kind of lost my space, lost my train of thought here, but yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of content? I understand you were playing video games, but what other content were you streaming? I know for a fact you were hosting a D&D campaign for a while on Roll20.
Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Where did that go? Where did that go?
That was still in the early crunchy phases of my streaming, and that was also at a different like, I would say the person I am now this year is vastly different than what I was prior. So at the time, it was still kind of on the newer side. I believe I didn't even use this model. So, like, I would say this model, thank you, by the way, has been a new phase of me as a streamer compared to what I was prior. So that Roll20 campaign was very much still in a learning phase, stressed about everything phase, and with enough stress, you were just not enjoying yourself. Because especially with Roll20, you need to, anyone can throw a screen up and have people watch, but with that, you're gonna have multiple people, so you set up multiple PNGs so people can attach voices to the players, and who the players represent. You need several monitors, at least at the time for me. I need to maintain a DM screen to make sure I had all the information for me, but then chat had to rely on a different monitor with a different window for a non-DM view, and I had to sync up between the two. And there's a lot of losing your places and layers, and it was a mess. It was a mess, but
you need about for individual screens like that to run that.
It was something. And at that stage of my own development as a streamer and understanding the tech and everything, definitely too much. So maybe it'll make a return someday, but
and if it does, what approach do you want to what's the word, how do you want to approach it?
It would probably be a one-shot module. I don't because it's kind of like Baldur's Gate 3 right now. Everyone wants to collab on that, but the game is so long that you're talking like a month's investment, and not everyone can do that. It's very much like it's an actual D&D game where you try and sync schedules up and it just doesn't pan out. So the shorter the campaign, the better, and hopefully maybe the more silly one. Like, I believe there is a D&D campaign where you all are just a bunch of kobolds and you just are doing silly kobold things. So like situations like that. As much as everyone can enjoy being, their own character that they design, there is also a a certain appeal to, selecting a character and just seeing how things pan out.
Or having the character selected for you. Not have to like force yourself to role play or play around in a
Yes,
certain
yes, yes,
character.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and now you pretty much stream a lot of D&D adjacent games. Would it be that right?
Yes, definitely. Let's see. I think the last couple, obviously Final Fantasy. That's been a big one.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy community is actually really cool. So,
Oh, I'm aware.
they're super supportive. Yeah, I'm sure you are. When it comes to MSQ, a lot of people, the story of 14 is so good that people want to relive, MSQ. Plus, see it through. I see you, Podge. See it through the eyes of someone who has not been through the game like they have. So they can kind of relive that experience through new people. So MSQ runs are very a big viewer thing. I would say a lot of my big viewings have been due to the MSQ route that I did. But other than 14, I want to do Dark and Darker. I have not gotten around to it. But then you got your Baldur's Gate 3. I'm doing a solo run because I beat the game, as a party. But now I'm like, oh, the challenge of trying to beat it when you're just one character. Otherwise, that's kind of been, 14 and Baldur's Gate have been kind of the main meat right now, which I do want to spread out from. But you just kind of, I also don't like leaving things half finished. Despite the Pathfinder Roll20 thing, I do like to be able to play an entire game through. So, I know there's games I've completed on stream. I just completely forgot what they are, so I have no example for this. But
why do those? What does that genre or those games appeal to you?
With 14, MMOs, I would call it a waste, but definitely spent my youth playing World of Warcraft, raiding in WoW through high school. Hell, I think it wasn't until recently the Shadowlands expansion where I just finally said, I'm done. But I kind of grew up with Warcraft 3 and StarCraft, and a lot of RTS, a lot of early Blizzard titles. So, there was that attachment going in. So the MMO scene is not unknown to me, as different as WoW and 14 are. And then Dark and Darker, I kind of view it a little bit as a Soulsborne, which I do enjoy Soulsborne. So that's also another medieval style game that I enjoy playing. I see Dark and Darker as kind of a weird hybrid between Hunt Showdown, Tarkov, and Dark Souls. So there's an appeal there. You got your Diablos, which are also something I like doing. Now that I think about it, Diablo 1 is kind of I've done that multiple times on stream, and that's kind of a thing I'd like to do, is bring people on who have never played Diablo 1 and be like, allow me to expose you to the shenanigans if you so choose to. But growing up, a lot of RTS, because my grandfather played RTS, PC games. Yes, yeah, I would say he was a huge influential. It's a generational thing for sure.
Yeah.
I remember.
A third generation gamer.
Yeah, exactly. Because, but now that I think about it, I do recall a vivid memory, which is very funny to me. My dad and my grandfather were in a StarCraft game, and basically, if you didn't let Grandpa turtle up for the first 10 minutes, he didn't want to play. But my dad had apparently broken this rule, and I remember my grandfather calling my dad up and basically, for lack of a better term, motherfucking him for for having the audacity to break that covenant. So, so RTS, I had some appeal. We're talking Warcraft 3, StarCraft, Command and Conquer. Jump to Diablo style games. Grinding, getting loot, getting gear. Well, same thing. all that jazz. So then, that hopped into MMOs, which are kind of the same deal. And then, we just kind of spread out from there. I don't have any real games that I kind of like toss myself at exclusively.
Did you have a Magic the Gathering addiction?
Oh, absolutely. I am in a room that has shelves full of Magic cards, which I'm just now I'm getting out of the hobby. Mostly because it's too damn expensive.
Oh, yeah.
The hobby and it can be done virtually for free. Is it as satisfying as the cards? No. But you do not need to have this Avenger level threat deck to enjoy Magic unless you have a dedicated playgroup. I do not. So I have all these high power decks, and I realized, dude, I don't go out to my local shops. I don't do any, like, why? And sure, you could play over camera, but it's kind of janky a little bit, because then you got to worry about a program identifying the cards and all that jazz. So I decided to exit that and just kind of go ahead.
I was going to say, I do remember seeing like some TikTok streams where YuGiOh players were literally dueling each other with dual discs, and I'm wondering how that logistically works.
I have not engaged with YuGiOh since like when the anime was like first coming out.
Which one?
So yeah, exactly, the first one with Yugi, Kaiba, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Exodia, that stuff. So like seeing how things have progressed with that game, I will stick to Magic, because I just do not.
I feel that.
Do not have the, if you enjoy it, I got nothing against it. Same with Pokemon. I remember having a little bit of Pokemon. I think my first rare was a foil Zapdos. No idea where that ran off to, but I remember the chase card being Charizard and all that jazz. So I've kind of been. I had a background as a child growing up in a comic shop that was owned by my grandfather and my dad. So we're talking the foundation. I was boned from the get go. Comics and hobbies. Like I had no chance for a normal life. So surrounded by comics and seeing things I probably shouldn't have at that age. So
yeah,
a lot of adult comics and no one telling me no. So
spandex does reveal a lot.
Yeah. So but yeah, I don't remember where I was. So by all means.
Let's see. Do you view your streaming as work?
I do not want it to become work. I want to maintain it at a hobby level. But there is so much work that goes into this hobby if you want to see success to an extent. Because, you have to define your own level of success. Like, you cannot... I do not recommend looking at, like, Vexoria, Cinder, the V shoujo, like the big top dogs, and trying to pursue that. You need to kind of have like a reasonable checkpoint of success for yourself that is not overwhelming to you, and like try and go for that. And then maybe, it's like leveling, go to 2, go to 3. Do not, because the end game for VTubing, vastly different than what you are going to experience in the beginning. So just the mentality, they built different up there is what it comes down to. So they are built different, because when VTubing becomes your job, content creation becomes your job, things do not stay fun. So you have to like try and balance that. And that's just because of the, I only understand this, based on my assumptions and my own discussions with people who are in that echelon of, full time. So, it's as much work as you want to put it into it, is what it comes down to. Because, short form is a great way to get people's notice, and that's work. You got to learn how to edit. You got to sit there. And for me, I have to study TikTok to the point where I need to find sounds that would make sense for the model and for the PNG backgrounds that I can do. Splice all that together to make it look good. So that's a lot of time. Maintain a presence on social media with like Twitter, which I can do from work fairly enough, but or fairly decently. Same thing with YouTube Shorts. Same thing with YouTube in general.
I feel that. Yeah.
Fansly, if you're doing that stuff.
Oh yeah, I know of it. Unfortunately, I associate it with like OnlyFans or something for some reason. Only because I'm familiar with it because of Vexoria.
Some of my favorite people are on Fansly, so they do call it Blue Twitch for a reason, because there is gaming on there. You can stream games, which I thought about it. You don't have to do all the unsay so stuff.
No bastards, no puns.
Sure. But there are games that are adult themed that you can't play on Twitch that are worth their salt to play. So that is always an option if you wanted to go over there just to, stream an adult game. So, but no, I know a lot of cool people who do Fansly. And it's totally valid. You make that bag, sell them feet pics. That's a joke. I mean, it's true, but it's a joke, but it's true.
Hey, money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rent's not going down, people.
Mm-hmm.
Live your life.
So give me your
have
rent
fun.
For my.
You got. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's it can definitely be a job if you make it that way, but you kind of have to stifle yourself and make sure you can only handle what you can, and that's up to each individual.
Is it just the amount of work is the reason why you want to keep it as a hobby, or?
So, with a lot of content creators, they'll get into it and they want to go full time. They want to, make this their career. I've been at my current job for over 12 years. It's a union job, pays very well. It's afforded me the luxury of having all these nice things. Really great health insurance. So I do not perceive VTubing or content creation to ever be able to overcome what my actual job provides. So it's easier just to delegate this as hobby level. And, keep it at hobby level, because, obviously if success happens, it happens. Like, by all means, don't limit yourself due to that stuff. But it just doesn't seem feasible to me. And, maybe that's a limiting, maybe that's my mindset that, maybe if I did apply myself, but I also know my own limits. So between balancing my job, my own mentals, and my free time, it's easier to keep this as a hobby compared to like trying to make anything of it. Because I definitely know people who get into full time and are not prepared for the stress of that, because it's a different game, different ball game.
From what I remember, in fact, you did take a few breaks.
Oh, absolutely.
Altogether.
Yes. No, last year I definitely needed to take a break, and probably the best thing I've ever done, quite frankly. Therapy is great if you can afford it, people. That's that's all I can say. Yeah. Therapy's great. You never know what baggage you are dragging along in life that is weighing you down, and you don't realize it until certain situations come up. So it's good to I'm just grateful that I was able to kind of take advantage of and have the mindset to be able to succeed with therapy and mental health stuff. But also that's due to my job that allows me to seek these things and not be financially crippled. So but yes, breaks, burnout happens all the time. Everyone, you see graduation posts left and right, and people are burning out left and right, and it's just part of the game, unfortunately. There's some really successful creators that still take breaks from time. Like I think Cobalt VT. I think he's kind of he's a big horror VTuber that I respect.
Okay.
He's kind of taken last I knew, he was taking kind of a streaming break so he could focus on short form. So like sometimes even the hiatuses that you see aren't always for, it's just kind of let things be in the back seat while you focus on something else.
Mm-hmm. I had to refresh my memory on Cobalt. Yeah, I remember that video or that Twitter update.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What happened the first time you had to take a break?
First time. So I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've taken 2 breaks. I just don't remember. What was it?
I guess a better way to put it is, why did you take a break for the first time, or at least
Are we talking this most recent one?
no,
like
not
kind of
the
like
most
last
recent
year
one.
kind of
Pretty much,
deal?
yeah,
Okay.
the last year kind of deal. If you want to
Okay.
further explain, or pretty much are comfortable with describing like the second or maybe third time you took a break, or the most recent.
So we'll do the most recent, and I'm gonna keep it
Let's
vague
go
for
with
the
that.
sake of respect.
Done.
It was relationship based, and it kind of it was a lot of relationship mental stress with people involved, multiple people involved, and it basically caused me to need to take a step back, because I was able to determine that what I was feeling at the time was not something I wanted to feel ever again. I kind of started referring to a lot of self-help and whatnot. So it was definitely relationship-based need to step back and grow situation. Nothing, vastly awful by any means. It was just a situation I was not prepared for. And, all parties involved, I still have a very good relationship with. And, it just, life is interesting sometimes.
Mm-hmm. What kind of self-help did you pick up? Something, I hope something rooted in positive psychology.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. It was a book. It was an audiobook, which I adore audiobooks. Because obviously I'm working. So rather than music, I'm just listening to self-help. There was 2 things. It was some book on codependency, which it was more based on alcoholics, but it still had some messages in there that resonated. Some of my own habits. And then kind of, I think the linchpin to my entire, I'm trying to look at my Amazon right now to see if I can find this book, but it was, oh my gosh, Feeling Good? The New Mood Therapy by David D. Burns. So, doctor accredited stuff. I don't deal with pseudo podcast bro stuff.
No, none of that Sigma male grind set.
No, that was, how many people warned me about that? I tell them
I'm
I'm getting
betting
self-help, and that was their
a whole legion's worth.
that I get it. That I have a distaste for that particular sector. There's some decent ones, but then there's also some people that are just taking advantage of the sensationalist mindset that is very prevalent in modern society. So no, I wanted something doctor accredited, an actual doctor, not just but David E. Burns, Feeling Good by David E. Burns was definitely the linchpin audiobook that kind of flipped the script for me, and I am still doing I'm still incorporating things to this day. There's obviously, you can always do more work, but it's kind of helped unclutter and promote better thought processes, which has definitely helped me with my confidence, self-esteem, and just VTubing and hobby, enjoyment in general.
He's 81 years old. Hmm.
Yeah.
He looks 60. 20 years
I
younger.
will say, let's see, feeling good, new therapy. George Newbern narrated it. Fairly cheap on Amazon, but definitely one of those things where that book plus a little bit of therapy did a lot. So yeah, it's, you really don't understand what you're dragging with you throughout life until you hit a certain point. And then it's kind of, you ever play Darkest Dungeon, by the way? That's a good game. Where your character stress.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
Go. Where you hit a certain stress point, and you basically, you hit that moment where, are you about to be inspired, or are you about to be afflicted, or whatever the terms are. You might know it better than I do. But that's very that's very much life. Like that's you hit a certain point, and you have to flip a die and hope that you come out of it well, or you come out of it not so well, but you're able to figure it out and work through it.
How did you approach streaming after each of your breaks?
So let's see. When I came back, it was for a charity stream for Diablo 4. Due to my background with my grandfather, we did play a lot of Diablo 1, Diablo 2. He did not get to see Diablo 3 due to a cancer diagnosis that unfortunately took his life. But I wanted to, I got my family together and said, I'm going to do this. I want to come back to streaming. Diablo 4 is coming out. I, want to do a charity for the type of cancer that he had and just kind of honor his memory that way. So I, set out to do that because for a while I had been considering coming back, leading up to, that event. So it really just felt like a good time to just go for it. I had never done charity before. Diablo 4 is going to be new. I had a good reason behind it. And it was easy enough to be done, via Twitch. So, we just, I think I put an advertisement out for it. I did a little TikTok video for it a couple days before launch. And I just got family together. We set up goals and just kind of, it was mostly my effort, but like they, they played with me here and there. And, just kind of the hearing their surprise by the initiative, because I really did feel really good about that whole thing. So that was kind of really just a sudden surge of inspiration that just really worked out the last time. Just a lot of factors, a lot of spirit bomb, Goku spirit bomb, just a lot of things pulled together, and it worked out. I still would like to do more TikToks, but free time. So that would be a nice way to kind of cap off the current efforts right now, is be able to stream and do TikToks. But it's a marathon. No one is is there FOMO? Maybe, but you just got to go at your own pace.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll burn out, spin out your tires, go into the ditch, flip over a few times, hit a tree, fun stuff.
Yeah. Maybe squish some kids along the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's, they should not have been there. You just be like that. That's not, just happens.
Was that a Canadian commercial am I thinking of?
I think I know the commercial you're talking about. I just do not remember the specifics of that. I just do remember the car flipping over the kids, be like, oh, yeah. Yeah. So
in this segment, we can be pretty tongue in cheek about it. But when did you want to lewd your character?
Man,
Huh?
So that was entirely.
When here's the thing. When I was designing your like Chaos Marine inspired model here, I was not
I
thinking
will.
of Big Daddy.
I will
Geddon.
have you know, I at no point sent you a reference for Chaos Marines. That was entirely on you.
Yes,
I sent
true,
you, I think,
true.
the Lich King. I sent you the Lich King. I sent you
Yeah.
Shredder from, what was it, 2003 TMNT, and Sarevok from Baldur's Gate. So
Uh,
the space chaos marine, the chaos space marine curse you've bestowed upon me has worked. Don't get me wrong, I'm here for it, but not my intent with the character at all. I've had to explain, but
I got that. I got that.
lewd wise, entirely Twitter. That was horny Twitter got a hold of me. I believe someone by the name of, I think the first surge was from Matsura Oni. Did a sketch of Geddon, and he is known for his style, catered towards masked, faceless, beefy dudes.
Beefy boys.
So that sketch, yeah, overnight, just we're talking just like throughout the night. I'm just sitting there like, all right, Twitter following, you can slow down. You could, it just kept going up, and I'm just like, oh, okay, people are following me, so this is interesting. And yeah, exactly, stonks did go up. And I I was not as open with that sector of content or feelings. I was a bit more reserved. So this was still, not Puritan by any means, but definitely not in the open. So yeah, let's see. So Matsur Oni, and then I remember Horror Himbos did the unarmored Geddon, and that just also took off. So they gave Geddon a body, and just everyone ran with it. So as did I. It just kind of took me some time to figure out what the hell was going on, but Podge, I see you. That was entirely Twitter. That was entirely horny Twitter. Yeah. TikTok did not help either. After seeing the response to just it's so weird when people call you daddy. It's just
I got that. I got that. How did you go?
I was not prepared for that.
Okay, then let's talk about after.
Sure.
You came to after you've gone through the denial.
Metamorphosis, perhaps. Yeah.
You go into the acceptance portion of realizing things.
Yep.
How did you go about shaping your Overlord persona to also include a Papa Bear vibe?
Papa Bear vibe.
I guess it's the best way to describe it as
initially
a part-time YouTuber. If that sounds accurate.
That would be. I do not feel I am within the hallowed halls of the LewDtuber. I do enjoy flustering the shit out of people, though. Due to the voice normally, so Podge would know. So how did I? So it's you notice, there is a phrase that I've heard before. Sex sells. Yeah. So it was also a form. Not only was it a way to express myself in a way that I never had before. It was also a way to advertise again a little bit, as long as it was done correctly. For a time, I did kind of have one Twitter where it just a mix of everything. Problem being, Twitter is not a huge fan of blatant horny posts and, throwing, lewds for all to see. And your reach will be severely, constricted by that. Which is counterproductive when you are using Twitter to further your reach with VTubing. Obviously, there are people who do it regardless.
Yeah.
But that just kind of, for a time, I wanted people to know me for me. Mm-hmm. I just wanted them to kind of, this is Geddon. Hi. This isn't entirely, RP here. But eventually it came to a point where I did decide to split off. And
split off. The part
Yeah, saucy on the side. So we put this instead of you got your spaghetti, you got the noodles right there, and then in the middle, instead of mom dishing it out, the sauce and meatballs and shit like on your spaghetti right away. You have the pan there and you decide what you want instead of it coming pre-sauced up. So we put the sauce on the side, as it were, and then just basing a lot of my interactions on, I don't typically go to people. I let people come to me. Unfortunately, people can be very strange about this sector of human experience, especially in an online setting, especially when you lack confidence and you don't know how to act and you don't know how to properly channel these things. It can go severely poorly for all parties involved. So when I do the lewd thing, I try and be responsible and ensure that it's always, both parties are aware. Like, the amount of DMs I have sent out to double check if what I said was within the realm of appreciation. If you try and just add a little bit of sauce, like you don't know the person too much, you add a little bit of sauce, but then it's also, so far I've had everyone respond very favorably to these inquiries, ensuring that I do not go overboard, or if they were okay with what I said. So being I would not call myself a YouTuber by any means. I do want to kind of explore voice stuff, but I'm working on the logistics of that, because that's also a form of short. If you've seen my TikTok, some of my most popular videos, have been due to my voice. So that's kind of the, if I was to go that direction hardcore, I think that'd probably be the route I would go, voice wise, like vocals and whatnot.
Do you worry this might leak into your real life? Do you think? Do you worry that your family might come across your page and see a death knight with a? How do I measure that?
Can I pause you for a second? They know. They are aware.
Okay.
They are. Let's see. I'm 32. Parents live out of state. I've kind of been living on my own for well over a decade. I'm well within the realm of, like, I'm an adult. I do what I want. Very little of my parents' social circle will ever see the content or link me to the content that I do. I don't plaster the connection there. I don't have a Facebook connection, like hardcore connection there. So, like, am I worried about it? No. Because at the end of the day, I'm an adult. I do what the fuck I want. I pay my bills. I'm not, as long as I'm not hurting anyone. You judge me all you want, but you're judging me on superficial shit. So, but let's tell us a little story here. So, Dad Geddon is aware of my stuff, and for the Diablo 4 stream, one of the goals was to get a Geddon Booba mousepad art design. This was reached. So, casually one time I'm talking with my dad and brother, and I mentioned this. And my dad goes, Booba mousepad, I want to see. Unfortunately, for my very conservative father, who is well in he's at least 50, he is not at all acquainted with the modern internet, as it were. So he apparently did not pick up on the fact that it would be of my beefy male VTuber. So I said, all right, we full sending it. So I sent the picture to him, and he said, never mind.
No, I'm not touching that. I'm not gay.
Yeah. And,
I ain't touching that man boob.
Yeah, he just, yeah. So my father is aware of the spicier stuff. And, if they want to judge me, that's on them. But like I said, they're in a different state, and I'm an adult. So I'm not hurting anyone. To my knowledge, I make sure to keep that. Like I don't want to be uncomfy in any regards. So I try and keep all channels open. And if I do make anyone uncomfy, I hope to God they say something. Because I don't want to make people uncomfortable. I want them to know they can come to me and be like, hey, I have not had that happen yet, thankfully. But it's something to keep in mind. Just keep that ego in check. This is for fun. It's not. I am not Dom Daddy of the internet. I don't care what, RP shenanigans. Like, I don't separate the two insanely. So like it's just for fun. But yeah, no, not worried about the family at all. Cousins are aware. Maybe not my uncle, but yeah, my cousins and my dad are aware, and I'm sure my mom does too. So it just be like that sometimes. Live your life.
Yeah. What do you think are the advantages and the disadvantages of this image?
Well, advantages. I would say it's more. It feels less curated. Because there are definitely some VTubers who will, for example, they'll throw in just engagement bait, in the form of just memes that have nothing to do with their character, or just vague questions that just to draw in answers and get eyes and whatnot. I still very much prefer to have a personal touch to the content I put out. So I like to think an advantage of kind of showing people who I am is like, this is me. Like, obviously it's not 100% me. Like there is a little bit of RP to it, but it just authenticity. That's what it comes down to. Is my appreciation for the advantage. People can get a good sense of me in my humor. Disadvantages, obviously, you're not going to be everyone's. That's kind of the thing with life, right? Is you cannot make everyone happy. So you will definitely disadvantage yourself in the sense that if someone gets a bad first impression of you based on your sillier nature or your lewd nature, if that's like their first thing, that's their first impression, and unfortunately, maybe you lost a potential connection. But you also should not restrict yourself based on this, unless you are really going for the hardcore, like, I want this to be full-time. If you're worried more about your business image compared to just being yourself. Yeah, let me check Discord, because my girlfriend just... What did you... Okay, never mind.
All right.
Well, that means keep going.
Let's see. How much do you hold back from not only your public image but also your mutuals within this within this context, at least?
So it's more, I think of it like a lock and key, because obviously you need to have. So, do you do editing? Do you do like video editing?
From time to time. Yeah.
So like in DaVinci, you can import sound, and it will be whatever sound it is, but the the sound might be too loud for normal ears. So you will right click and normalize audio, just so it's at a bearable level. I try to ensure that we stay normalized, unless they are seeking, that louder tone. So holding back wise, like, I wouldn't feel it's holding back. It's more like matching energy. I try and read the room. And, sometimes this can work to my disadvantage because, I'll be in collabs and I'm just like, I'm too busy reading the room and getting the impression of people before I can show myself off, so to speak. And so yeah, there's a bit of growing up, I was a Batman kid. So, the stoic, silent guardian type is not outside, that's my usual default. And then I kind of try and match energy from there after I determine that, like, you know, you are I guess safe could be the word, but like I will get comfortable enough with you. I will then, you know, match energy and go from there.
All right.
So, you know, there's a little bit of hold back, but it doesn't feel like, you know, you're a dog on a leash. It's more just sitting and waiting.
I got that. Let's see. So Dom, sub, or switch?
I am a very so when I think switch, I think of a light switch, up down. I'm a heavy lean towards Dom, and that's just based on my own past. However, there are if you know there is a way to flip that switch.
Yeah.
But it comes with comfortability, and it comes with you have to earn the ability to flip that switch is what it comes down to. And you know, I also I'm not a huge fan of the whole like Dom sub shit because of the way it's been kind of used as insults, as assumptions, as Dom being the new alpha, so to speak, the new Sigma. You know,
definitely.
I'm a Dom, and it's like, well, here's the thing: your preference is Dom. Until you are in an encounter with a partner where this situation matters at all, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it's like you come to me and it's I'm a tank main. I'm like, okay, well I don't play Overwatch, so why would you tell me that? I don't care. Like this not the time. Oh, I'm a Dom. Are we having sex? No. I don't. Okay. It just it's a role. It's a role queue. You know, you know FF14 you queue into a dungeon to the bedroom, and you know you select the role and just kind of go from there. You discuss with people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I try not to be like Dom, but for all intents and purposes, heavy lean Dom with switch. These are my preferences. Yeah. You know, Dom, but there is a switch that if you can flip, then that'll be interesting.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Sounds good. So, Bran.
Yep.
We're going to take a little bit of short break to recollect and give it the chance to ask away what they wish. You got some throat lubricant, some of that substance, some of that moisturizer of
I just finished mine off, so some of that H2O, some of that hydration.
Yeah. I'm probably I'm gonna get a refill on mine, so I'll be back.
All right, sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And everyone, ask away, and he'll ask. He'll answer. You know, just like I'll be back.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Yep. All right, chat. Let's see. So yeah, while he's gone, give me all your mortal possessions. This is a threat. This is a promise of a threat. Yes, this sword is very much Frostmourne. It's not actually Frostmourne. It's just heavily inspired by Frostmourne from WoW. So, if you picked up on that, good on you. Good on you. But make you. I'll see you next month. How about that? You know, you talk. You got words. I'll give you that. You got words, Podge. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. You know, honestly, I probably should refill my own water, but you know, I would hate for a discussion to go on. Actually, you know what? I am going to get water real quick. So we are going to. I will be right back. For the record, I think you explained aggressive Dom things, so well, thank you. I appreciate this because once again, this is just being able to show people who I am. So thank you. I'm glad that my own thought processes can kind of coincide. You know, that might be important between me and you. Weird how that works. Oh shoot. I have a question actually. What's your go-to work music? Like you got to focus on something. What do you listen to? Um, I can throw my Spotify at you if you want. I have a few different playlists. It can range from like, oh man, it can range from metal. It can range to new metal. I know there's some Metallica. Let's actually dig up the Spotify real quick. Funk is a big one for me. That's kind of one of the out there. Yes, dear. Oh, okay. All right, one moment. I must kiss the girlfriend. Hello. Hi.
All right, I am back.
Yeah, I would say funk is one of the more outside. Hard to explain really, but it's like
It has to be
it's
good
a form
funk.
of rap. Yeah,
What? It's
just
rap? Oh yeah, you're
it's
right. No,
it's
no,
a
you're right. You're right.
form. It's like an
Uh-huh.
off branch of Memphis rap, I believe, because I looked up like the history one time. But it's not hardcore rap by any means, but it's got like some of the lyrics are
Uh-huh.
done in a rap style behind all the music and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
I did not mean to shut my eyes. But yeah, there's funk, there's metal, there's EDM. But yeah, I'll throw my playlist at you sometime, Podge.
Mm-hmm. All right. Everyone asks away. Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone that they're
Looking
that
forward to it? Yeah, you better.
all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, um, this section is called fishes.
Sure.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I think we can cover at least from like January up until like now in not only this section but also the next one, which is more future and shit. Future
Sure.
aspirations and shit.
Mhm.
So let's see. So Bran, you know the
Yep.
phrase that there's plenty of fish in the sea.
There certainly is. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Typically appears before or after or anywhere else in a relationship in various forms of media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yep.
well, first and foremost, can you clear up a quick thing
Sure.
about being taken or having the status of taken online? And to me, it
You
could
have
be
not, but
obvious, but is there anything besides the fact that you're in a relationship with this
I
status?
have I have actually changed that recently. So um,
Yeah.
it's less take. I'm certainly taken, but it's we try that poly life when it comes down to him. So
All
uh,
right.
but so I guess what was the question? I apologize. I just got to
Uh,
clear that up real quick. Just
Pretty
so
much how would you describe the taken status on online?
um so when it comes to that, it just kind of like a sense of duty, devotion, and maybe some slight, disgust exclusivity. Like obviously, you basically, like in D&D, you make a warlock pact with a with a deity or what
Uh,
have you. You were basically making a pact, an agreement, a contract with someone else, and obviously that sounds like marriage or whatever, but that's how I kind of view relationships is, it's a two-way discussion between two parties. Um, what the boundaries are, what
nah.
the outline is. So, uh, prior, taken was your standard like, hey, wall, throw the wall up kind of deal. Uh, and that it's kind of been changed as of late, due to my dive into poly, but
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how I view relationships right now.
All
It's
right.
try not to over complicate things and just you know work. You don't have to go by a standard that's set by society, so to speak. It's between you and the other person, and what what boundaries, borders, and whatnot are present, but discussed.
I assume this helps ward off anyone from sliding into your DMs like a resistance buff.
A little bit. Thankfully, I don't think many have noticed the poly thing. So with Taken, that does apply. Is ideally, because that also says something about the other person if they are willing to slide in despite that status. Not always, but like it's something to keep in mind. That's kind of how I've always operated in that sense. It's like if you're willing to knock down that or try to knock down that wall, what does that say about that person? Kind of deal. But it's as with everything else, it's on an individual by individual basis. But thankfully, I've not had too many people trying to slide in my DMs. I am not a big titty anime waifu.
Gotcha.
I'm a big scary man, so not everyone be sliding in there, thankfully. And just take it by ear.
Gotcha. So now I think I came across the fish that definitely is in our question this year around like spring. Well, I was looking for like VTubers who have also backgrounds in like humanities and social sciences, the liberal arts, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Where were you before you met Esme?
I
guess we can say like in either both life and in your VTuber.
I was coming out of the therapy self-help era and kind of going into a express myself in a more lewd fashion era.
I got that.
And so that's kind of where me and Esme first talked. I had a penchant to drink on the weekends, and your confidence and your ability to talk to people that seem really cool, like you just reach out easier. Yeah, liquid confidence. You just reach out to people easier. So that was kind of Esme. What was it? We were both commenting on a mutual's like post or something, and what was it? I think I was a little inebriated at the time. I posted a GIF or a picture or something, but then deleted it, and she jumped in my DMs and started giving me shit about it. And then we kind of just bounced off each other really well, and now we're here. So
all right. When was this? This year, correct?
Yes. Yep.
What month?
That's something for my calendar.
Okay. All right.
We I would say it feels like it's no, it hasn't been quite a year. So I know it was more definitely beginning of the year for sure. I don't have an exact month on it though.
All right. And when did you start collabing with each other?
So she, with her job, it makes streaming time not, she's definitely in like a hiatus mode where she's not able to consistently have a schedule and stream and whatnot. So like it was a little bit before we started quote unquote collabing in a Twitch sense, but in a relationship sense, it was a couple weeks. So
all right. What were these streams like? If whenever the stars aligned.
By the time we had a pretty good sense of who each other. So there was a fair bit of comfortableness. It was lighthearted. It was goofy. Just me being me. There was not a hard focus on anything, but just being the authentic me. So
gotcha.
it was was lighthearted. It was good.
Mm-hmm. How did you get back into solo streaming? If you did get back into solo streaming,
Solo streaming.
yeah, streaming on your
That
own.
yeah. So that was definitely with the Diablo 4.
Yeah.
That's when I that charity release. It's been a lot of solo stuff after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like Tuesdays and Thursdays. I try to do a weekend. I try to do stuff with Esme on Saturday, depending on what's available. So like, I still very much prefer to solo stream because it's kind of like a comfortability. Like, this is my territory. I kind of be the goofball I want. But then when you go other places, it's like, depending on comfortability, and you're not the same. It's not your stage, so to speak. So, but it's not too much of that between me and Esme. So
I got that. How's life on and off offline nowadays?
We working quite a bit. It's we're juggling, trying to stay motivated. It's easy to get all this motivation while you're at work, but then when you get off work, you're either tired or you don't have the time to fully commit to the process of, because with me it's third shift, so I go in at 10:30 p.m. This is without overtime. Like, I go in sooner if I do have overtime. Go in at 10 at night, and then I'm not back home until like 8 a.m. Get off at 7, get home by 8. So like, ideally, if we're trying to do a whole like have some time before work deal, I need to go to bed fairly after getting off work. So the offline life is trying to find the lightning in the bottle to properly execute, finding ideas and actually going for them with the amount of time that I do have, and not just like falling apart into a blob and going, man, I just want to sit and stare into space. So
would you say you have more pep when you you're streaming?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a jolt of energy when it comes to streaming, because you see the same people, you see the familiar people give you a hard time. That's chat bullies the streamer. So there's a little pep there, because you can't just let them. You just can't let them have it. You can't just let them bully you. You gotta put them in their place. It never works, because they're just gonna keep redeeming dodgeballs at your face. But like, you gotta put some energy into it. So it's kind of a wake up. Like, I wake up, I try and get ready for stream, and off we go and see who shows up, what energy I need to bring to the table.
So, despite all the breaks, despite sliding into self-help, not saying that's a bad thing either way. I'm just saying, like,
no, of course,
getting things a bit more solid after through some therapy work. What is motivating you to stream or continue being like a VTuber?
So it's a lot of creative expression.
Yeah.
It's the people. I don't generally like to use the term VTubing community, because there's a lot of negatives that get associated with that. But basically, I enjoy the people that I have surrounded myself with, who have chosen to include me in their circles, who interact with me. So there's that. It's like with any hobby. Imagine back in the day, grandparents probably went to the local bowling alley, or whatever, to do whatever they did back then. And you just see the same people. You are in the same hobby. You're all, it's just that sense of, the word is community. I'll give you that. I just try not to encompass everyone in that word, because that just leads to danger zone. So the motivation is like also in part to there's a fair bit of social connection, as I've alluded to. You never know who you're going to run into. Every stream can be different. Every interaction can result in some blossoming human experience, and that's what we're here for, dude. That's you got hopefully 60 plus years on the planet, like fucking experience people, experience things, and people are a part of that. As much of a pain in the ass as that can be sometimes.
Yeah.
So you just just live a little. That's kind of the motivation right now. It can be very expensive due to my own personality traits of wanting to up myself or do things to a certain caliber beyond my skill and time afforded. But it's a creative outlet. It's a social outlet, creative outlet for me. So that's kind of the motivation right now.
Speaking of creative outlets, you're definitely getting into some voice acting.
I'm trying.
Why?
There's a lot of confidence issues with that. Because obviously there's a lot of sound editing involved with that. Like you need to go in. You need to. Hi, Rainbow. Rainbow is a respected VA friend of mine. There's a lot of sound editing, but I've always enjoyed doing impressions. I've always enjoyed doing voices, but didn't always have the confidence to kind of do it, on the fly. Like right now, I would choke under pressure. But there's a lot of fun in doing these voices and then seeing people's reactions, and then you kind of learn. You like a big thing with VTubing is everyone hates their own voice.
Yeah.
Like everyone, and like at some point there's always some goofball saying, "Oh, my voice is awful," and it's like, to you think your voice is awful because it's easy to critique yourself more than others. So there's also coming to terms with that realization as more and more people are like, "You have a good voice." It's like, damn. As much as you want to sit there and act like you do not need other people's affirmations to validate yourself, when it comes to that, depending on your background, I have no background in I have not taken improv. I've not done drama. Nothing that would lend to a skill that would do voice acting. But it's fun. And it's something that I don't mind trying to do. And people get a little mushy about the deep growl voice I do. So it's just like I enjoy messing with people. I like teasing, messing in a good way, by the way.
Of course,
yeah, exactly. So having the ability to melt someone in your presence is really funny to me. In a confident boosting kind of way. So just allow me to out myself to two people who are very much probably aware of that. So but with that comes the stress of sound editing, making sure it sounds right. Like my computer is so damn loud, and it just occurs to me that like how much that can corrupt any sound thing you're trying to do, because the more editing you have to apply to a clip, the more chance that it can be damaged. And then I know next to nothing, you throw an equalizer at me, like, oh, look at these bands, look at, all this. I'm just like, help. I don't know what any of this means.
Oh, don't worry.
Like, it's, trying to sound isolate. And then with I always go overboard. When I find a source of dopamine, I just, serotonin, whatever, go too hard. So I'm sitting there like wanting to design a voice booth with, just be able to isolate sound to sound better, despite the fact I'm just starting out. So there's also it's voice is fun. I'll leave it at that. To answer your question.
Yeah, I'm still fiddling with my my sound settings even to this day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations as not only a VTuber but also a VA? And so on.
So with VTubing, we kind of take that week by week. I would like to do more just chatting. I would like to be able to devote more time to it, but that's completely up to my own mental framework to allow myself to do that. With third shift, it can be very difficult. I've been heavily considering first shift just to, because it's one thing to like wake up right away and just be ready for stream. It's another to have spent the entire day working. You are active, everything is flowing, and as if you can come home and not be so dreadfully tired that you can't dedicate any energy to what you're doing, like you're ready to go. So like compared to my current situation, as I try and wake up, shower right away, do a bunch of shower singing to get my fucking voice ready, like just kind of, you know, make sure you got your water and okay, thanks. Esme just came in and called me a nerd, but
nerded.
That, yeah, exactly. Let's see. So with VTubing, I'd like to do more stuff with it. I'm getting a new model soon. I'm hoping the art should be done real soon. It's coming to the part where the expressions are being. I'll send you some pictures, but I would like to try to make an event because, you know, it seems like everyone does a model reveal and they'll have some event attached to it. I would like to be able to do that. Provide a bit more of like a showcase kind of deal, right? Rather than just like slide it in and be like, and this is a thing now. Try and have some fanfare to what I'm doing.
You gotta tease them for a bit.
Exactly. So yeah, I have a 3D model and a soon will be 2D model that just needs rigging. So that's kind of the goals with VTubing, you know, not shooting too high. What happens. Make sure we don't burn out. Have a good time. With VA stuff, I'm still trying to figure out how to breathe with my diaphragm, like, because that will, I believe that will produce like a deeper sound. Or there's all these mechanics to doing VA stuff just outside of sound editing. There's a lot of self techniques that you have to kind of practice. Find time to practice, because it doesn't always come natural if you don't have that background. So I have to play catch up compared to people who have maybe done this in school, or had some background in it prior. So I wouldn't mind doing spicy scripts, you know, at some point. You know, I might be working on one right now. Exactly. But that's kind of the VA goal right now. We're starting small, try and, because, you know, you got to figure out the sound editing. You got to deliver lines correctly, breathe correct. There's a lot to it. So it's, yeah, that's kind of the thing with VA right now.
All right. What
Keep your
worries?
throat hydrated.
Throat hydrated.
Sorry. Well, anyways.
Got all moisten all the way down to your belly. Gotta get that.
It's just
get that esophagus and mouth moisten and have it all plop into their belly, little belly right there.
Sure, dude. I'm all for that. But no, like with long strings of talking, like remember to stay hydrated, breathing correctly, all that shit. But please continue.
Okay. No, I was hyper focused on what you said. Right after I said about the belly shit. Anyway, what worries do you have as a VTuber?
Obviously getting caught up in drama. I'm very selective with who I try and associate with, to hopefully avoid this. There's always that fear of being taken the wrong way or taken out of context, and someone tries to burn you to the ground. I don't feel like I socialize in a greater circle enough to warrant this concern, but being careful of other people is kind of, as much as I'd love to be carefree, I also am very selective with who I devote mental energy to. The word friend is way too prevalent and means very little in the VTube space. So ensuring people can make it past the acquaintanceship, training, and then going from there. So that's definitely a concern, getting wrapped up in shenanigans.
I got that.
Cost is also a thing, because due to my own serotonin, dopamine shenanigans, tend to go overboard. So there's also, you're trying to dazzle people with new models, new assets, this stuff costs a lot. Artists need to be paid properly.
Of course.
So, cost is definitely a huge thing. Like, I'm sure that if I would just be a gamer and not, be a VTuber, I would be saving a lot of money right now. That I could probably reasonably devote elsewhere. But considering this is my hobby, this is something I want to be able to devote money to. But it's also making sure I rein myself in properly so I don't put myself in a bad position, which I have done before. So I have $10K in credit card debt that says I have been a very silly boy. But you live and you learn and you work on it. Not from VTubing, mind you, but just fuck Magik.
Magik the Gathering, that ultimate nerd money sink.
TCGs.
Yeah, the original loot boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What is like a hypothetical gets canceled situation look like to you?
So let's see. Probably the more looter aspect of what I do. More along the terms like I make a misstep. Cancel being too sexy.
I see what you mean.
So like that's the biggest thing I see a lot of is like these huge Google Docs and that just have someone just acting ridiculous over long lengths of time. I associate this behavior to people who are unable to manage their egos, who probably got attention when they were not ready to receive that attention and was not able to gracefully bear that attention. Because, if you have a situation like, say, you didn't even peak in high school, you're not used to other people paying attention to you in a certain way, right? So then you finally get that, and you're just not prepared for that. So like my biggest fear is that I do not keep myself in check, and I unfortunately I do not see myself doing this, for the record. Like, this is just like darkest timeline. Like, I don't know what the fuck would cause this to occur, but not keeping myself in check enough to where I have actually hurt somebody. And that's something to be reasonably canceled. If you are a threat to people, you need to be removed. But like, this is darkest timeline. Like, literally, this is not going to happen. Like, I will not allow it to, but it's that fear of lapsing. Another thing is pronouns. I'm really bad with those. I don't see myself getting canceled over them, but like, I don't want to offend people. That's what it comes down to.
I got that.
So ultimately, the cancellation would be having something to do with like offending or hurting someone, and not catching it before it got out of control.
Yeah.
I often joke about the Google Doc. So it's
always Google Doc. Where did that come from? Is it like the channel Awesome documents like years ago, or like the Rooster Teeth expose document?
It is a lot of that. Oftentimes, you will see people compile. Oh, this is over a long length of time usually. Screenshots of Discord messages, of DMs in general. Stories from witnesses and whatnot, compiled into Google Doc, because that's what it is. So my joke is always like, the joke is I'm trying to be the first male VTuber that doesn't have a Google Doc on them. Obviously, that's just a silly, like, over exaggeration, but yeah, that's where I think Google Doc came from. Is just compiling, all that stuff into one source. So it gets released on Twitter and Twit longer too, I guess, but I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. So
I look forward to your burn book. But no, yeah. Is there any, I guess, any additional information or insights you'd like to share with at least your audience regarding your VTuber journey, your approach to content, and any upcoming events or streams that you'd like to broadcast right here, as much as my channel can broadcast at least.
Yeah. Other than like, we're just out here doing our best. Sometimes the best doesn't everyone's best is different. So do not get choked up and caught up in what other people's best are and comparing yourself to other people. No one is the same. These people beat themselves up over standards that are not realistic and are outdated and manufactured for a purpose. So give yourself some damn grace is what it comes down to. Everyone. Like you're trying your best, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, event-wise, I don't have anything to really I do not have anything set up right now. So, to my knowledge, I do not even have any because I'm not big on collabs. So, I think I might have someone's birthday coming up on the I forgot to put it in my calendar. Nothing on my end. Nothing to really report. I don't even think I'll be streaming this weekend, so other than probably going to be doing some 14 or Baldur's Gate on Tuesday and Thursday, I do not have anything really to throw out there.
All right. Got any plans for Halloween?
Turn all the lights off and hide. No.
Oh, okay.
I actually, we let's see. I'm gonna visit my folks leading up to me and Esme are gonna go see my folks in their state for Halloween because Esme and my mother get along really well when it comes to like Halloween decorations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll visit for the first time there. And then yes, I was gonna say Podge has a model debut, song debut. There's a lot of stuff going on for Halloween for Podge, so I'll be hanging out over there.
I see.
Yep.
All right.
Podge
You know what a
good
Pizzelli is?
What?
You know what Pizzellis are?
Not off the top of my head, no.
No. All right. How you feeling?
I feel good. I got water. I'm hydrated. I got some of my favorite beans in chat.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been a pleasure. So
a very good
pleasure
to you too as well. All right, everybody. We will be concluding this episode of the show. Thank you very much for our guest right here, Gedden, for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. It was it was fun. It was fun to kind of explain myself professionally in a sense, anyways.
Also, it's great to catch up with each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Very much. And you chatters and VOD watchers will be able to find links to his socials down in the description below. Check him out, like and subscribe, and yeah, have a good time, y'all. Have a good mid-October week, especially.
Forfeit all mortal possessions to me.
All right. Have a good time, everybody.